Alrighty guys, welcome back to another very special episode of Grim Reaper RC, and in today's video we're going to be going over a bunch of different RC cars and we're going to be explaining scale, size, everything like that, and there's a bunch of different things we're going to have to talk about. So grab your RC, do some wrenching, do some cleaning, do whatever you got to do and enjoy this video. We are uploading every single day in the 2025 season, so I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you so much for watching and let's get right into the video. So before we get into the video and before we talk about the MST RMX 2.0 with the Ferrari 599 XE kit on here, which you guys have seen my full build breakdown on this. You guys have seen the full build breakdown on the 1/4 scale LOSI PROMOTO that we will be talking about later on in this video as well. And you've seen both of these compete against each other, the 1/24 scale and the 1/18 scale Bronco and Jeep Gladiator. But before we get into that, talk about wheel tire sizes, and before we get the bigger RCs in here, let me show you guys real quick a quick clip of me on the Sur-Ron when it was snowing out. I did have a Sur-Ron over here near the studio, and it was absolutely awesome when it was snowing, and we do still have snow on the ground. That's why we are inside of the studio today. So let's cut to that clip real quick. So starting off, taking a look right here, I'll just tell you guys real quick what we have on the table, what is inside of them electronics wise, that way you guys aren't guessing, and we'll go over a few different little things. Starting out, we have the 1/24 scale Axial SCX-10 Jeep Gladiator. On the inside, it is basically bone stock. We do have a light kit. Other than that, there is nothing really upgraded. Bumpers, maybe a few pumpkin covers, that's about it. On the I believe this is 18th scale Ford Bronco by Traxxas. This thing is absolutely awesome. I love it. There is zero upgrades, no bumpers, no pumpkin covers, nothing like that. Where the SCX-24 does have some upgrades. And this is where we are getting into our first conversation. We are talking about why is it that the extended wheelbase of a 1/24 scale vehicle, that is the Jeep Gladiator, why is it the same exact wheelbase as a 1/18 scale Bronco? Because in real life, if you scale these up, they are not the exact same by the distance of basically, let's see, 1/24 scale and 1/18 scale. If you scale them up by their sizes, it would not be exactly the same. So there is something different going on here that I'm not too sure about. We will talk about 1/18 scale LOSI products in a second as well. We also have a different scale. You guys know the scale of this rider figure over here. We'll get into that in 1 second. But now we're starting to get into a little bit more of the 10 scale sizing. So we talked a little bit about the small scale sizing. We'll get into the 10 scale sizing and we'll move up to the 5th scale sizing as well. Now, we do have a 1/10 scale wheel here. Now, this is the same exact wheel size, basically, and everything that is on my real car, shrunk down into RC form. These are beaten, destroyed, unfortunately. But even these are bigger than the real drift 1/10 scale, true 1/10 scale wheels. So I'm not too sure. All right, so maybe one of these is different just because of the tread and the size. So who knows? So that gets rid of 1/10 scale. Now, if we look at a 1/10 scale Traxxas slash wheel, this would have to be the size of a 45-inch tire in real life. This is basically the wheel and tire. I know this is just basically a rubber band, even though this isn't a rubber band in real life, because if you scale this up, think about how thick that would be. It would be like a rally car tire. I have true rubber bands on my white rims in real life. I may even put a picture or photo of them in the video. Now you can see that it's the same exact size as the rim on the inside. This thing can fit on the inside of it. So there is definitely something different going on with sizing between 1/10 scale. So now that we know that 1/18 scale and 1/24 scale are the same size, and that 1/10 scale and basically 1/9, maybe 1/8 scale is also different. So sizing on RC cars is always off. Alright, so now that we went over basically the 1/10 scale wheel sizes, now we are going to go over the size of the bodies with the 1/4 scale LOSI PROMOTO. Now, this is 1/4 scale. If we take a look at other 1/5 scale and 1/4 scale vehicles, like the 1/5 scale X Max, you guys know that the X Max does not fit in here. Now, if we pick this thing up and we go over here into the studio, we can see that this is a 1/7 scale Arma Felony, and you can see that this is basically much larger. This Arma Felony is much larger. This is much smaller. We have the 1/10 scale right here, Bronco, and it is basically the same wheelbase. So I feel like more so this is a 1/10 scale item right here, not a 1/4 scale. 1/4 scale would be more the size of a X Max. This is 1/7 scale, and even that is much larger than it. The wheelbase is actually larger itself. It is much more of a 1/10 scale vehicle. Even the 1/10 scale 6x6 is larger than the 1/4 scale. So this is definitely not 1/4 scale. I do have a issue with LOSI calling this 1/4 scale. I guess it is 1/4 scale of a dirt bike, but it is not 1/4 scale in the RC world. It is more 1/10 scale, just like a 1/10 scale size, especially if the Axial is calling this a 1/24 scale and Traxxas is calling this a 1/18 scale, and they're the same wheelbase. Someone has to give and take what is real and what is not good for sizing. Alright guys, so with that being said, that is basically all on the 1/10 scale and the 1/4 scale LOSI PROMOTO between the sizing and scaling. We also went through and we talked about the 1/10 scale sizing and scaling of the wheels and everything like that. We went through and we talked about the 1/24 scale and 1/18 scale sizing between Traxxas and Axial. This is between MST and LOSI, and then we have basically, I believe this is MST and Traxxas as well. So with that being said, we are uploading every single day in the 2025 season, so thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and turn on the post notification button. That way you guys get notified whenever I upload a really cool or informational video just like this one. And I do have a bunch more planned. We previously went through and just did a video on changing the wheels and tires, a quick start guide, and we also went through how I maintain and clean my RC cars. As you guys can see, the LOSI PROMOTO is super clean, and I do bring this thing out in the dirt, sand, and everything like that, mud. We do have snow right now, as you guys have seen in the clip of the Suron doing donuts and everything like that. It is snowy and muddy right now. I do bring out all of these cars, and every single one looks absolutely clean. So make sure you guys check out the video on how to clean your RC cars. I promise you, you won't be disappointed or won't be upset by it. As you guys can see, this thing looks brand new, and I do use all of my RC cars, as I have said. I will start filming a bunch more of me actually physically using them, especially once it gets a little bit nicer weather outside. That way there's not so much wind noise and things like that. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching Grim Reaper RC today. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and turn on the post notification button. That way you guys get notified whenever I upload a really cool or informational video just like this one, and I will see you all in the very next episode of Grim Reaper RC tomorrow.